What's happening, everybody? It's Nate Neal with the N2F podcast, and today's episode is titled Manifest the Suck. Some people may have heard it, especially those in the military, have heard it been said as embracing the suck. Others have heard it as accepting the suck. And today I want to give y'all some tools and some knowledge on how to navigate just the suck. Things that are not fun, are not good, but ultimately, if we don't give ourselves the right tools, the suck will then embrace us. And we don't have a fighting chance if we don't know how to combat some of the negative things that get thrown our direction. And this was brought to my attention over the past probably 6 to 8 months, just things that I've battled in my personal life. And there's things that I've shared with people before and things that I haven't, but things that are personal to me. And at the end of the day, how did I find ways to combat things that suck? And it ultimately doesn't start when the sucky event or something that's tragic happens. You have to fortify your mind. You have to fortify your physical body, your spiritual being, in order to fight these types of things. I want to start off by saying that you guys have been awesome. I really appreciate all of the love and support that I've been getting. You know, at the end of the day, it might be 100 views on YouTube. It's 100 more than I ever thought. And I'm really blessed with that. And I hope that anything that I say, everything that I do on this podcast finds a way to hit somebody directly in the heart and recognize that, you know, the climate that we're in and the things that are happening in our world, somebody might tell you, or even television news might tell you, that we're separated and you're alone, and you know, when terrible things happen, it's completely up to you to fix it. And I just think that the climate that we're in is just incredibly, incredibly negative. So, if things suck now for you and you did not prepare for these things that suck, the next thing that comes up that really isn't good and also sucks, I'll tell you that some of the things I'm about to tell you will help out tremendously and will be a huge catalyst in how you approach the next thing that comes up in your life that just sucks. It's unfair. You might lose a loved one. You might lose your job that you were dead set on making that your career until you retire. You might be in the middle of an inflation in the United States where, you know, you're making more money than you ever have in your entire life, but it's not really worth it. None of the things you work hard for are holding their value. So again, how do we find situations like that, and how do we turn them into redemption stories for ourselves? And how do we press on when the only thing we have to press through is mud and dirt and filth, and we have to get our hands and knees dirty to get through the next obstacle? And if you guys hear my dogs, I'm sorry. They are incredibly playful. So I do apologize about that. But manifesting the suck, what is it? How do you manifest it? Why would you want to bring something that sucks upon yourself? And really the answer to the question is this: the things that suck don't always reveal themselves in advance. The things that really get you down, honestly, are going to hit you when you least expect it. And just when you think things are quiet and everything's going good, something that really sucks comes in your way, and it blocks you off from the rest of the world, and it isolates you, and it makes you feel like you're alone, or makes you feel like you're not worth anything, or makes you feel like you don't have the drive or the passion to continue on with whatever endeavor that you're interested in. When we talk about things that suck, it could be anything. I hit on a couple of examples earlier, but it also could be as simple as you get stuck in traffic. Traffic sucks. It's not life changing. It's not life altering in any way, but it sucks. Nobody wants to be stuck in traffic. But what happens in those times when you're in your car by yourself, somebody cuts you off, or you're sitting in standstill traffic for an hour? What does your brain do? It starts to wonder. If you're like me, you have, a slight bit of overstimulating anxiety. You sit in your car and you're thinking to yourself, what goofball caused this accident? Or what in the heck is going on? And then that person cuts you off, and then you're even more angry. And it just makes you it makes your mind so jello. Like, it's just, there's nothing strong there to help calm the storm whenever little minute things like that come into your life. When I mention the term manifest the suck, obviously the term manifest means to bring to attention, to bring to life, to bring in front of you or others in accordance for being able to see and experience something, right? Manifesting the suck ultimately makes it harder to complete tasks. Like, for example, when you're at the gym and you have your workout and you're saying, okay, I got 4 sets of this, 4 sets of this. Okay, I'm going to give myself 1 minute of rest in between each set, depending on your goals. Well, you've been doing that workout for 6 months. You haven't changed anything. You've been plateauing. You haven't given yourself the tools to be able to increase whatever goal that you have in mind. Manifesting the suck says, okay, I'm going to give myself 30 seconds rest in between, and I'm going to superset the 2 of those sets. Meaning, I'm going to put one exercise, do my 10 reps, no rest, go into the next exercise, do my 10 reps. Then my 30 seconds starts. And, that may not be, at the end of the day, your goal may not be that type of workout. But there's something to be said about changing your workout on the fly to be more physically demanding. That's embracing the suck. That's manifesting the suck. That's saying, I have control of my situation. I have control of what I do next. How do I fortify my mind? How do I gain mental toughness? How do I gain physical toughness? Because you get to 2 or 3 sets in and you're at muscle failure and you feel like a weakling because you're trying something new. And ultimately, manifesting the suck comes down to a couple of situations, and a lot of it is trying something new. Because at the end of the day, something that sucks is not like every day. Like, if you're doing things that suck every day and they don't help you out mentally, then you're just living a sucky life. I'm just being straight up honest. Like, you have to be really in tune with yourself, and you have to manifest things that suck that are good for you. They have to be good for you. Being an alcoholic is sucky. But if you do it every day, if you are a habitual drinker, right, that's not manifesting the suck. That's you not being able to dig yourself out of that alcoholic hole to be able to help yourself in the future. Or that's not allowing other people to come into your life to help you change. There they are. They're being very obnoxious, and it's okay. But there's a difference between manifesting things that suck and manifesting the suck. Completely different things. When I'm at the gym and I personally could not feel any type of motivation whatsoever, those are the times when I feel like I should manifest the suck because my body and my mind already don't want to be there. They already could care less about being at the gym. And I am confident that I don't want to do it. My personal being does not want to do it. I know in my soul that I do not want to be at the gym. Boys. So I get there and I recognize that I have to manifest myself and I have to manifest something that really sucks to push through it. And y'all may be a little bit different, but if I'm at the gym and I really don't want to be there, I'm personally going to take a little bit off my workout so that I can at least get it in and feel good about myself. So I can at least get my workout completed and be like, you know what? I did good today. I did something I didn't want to do. But in reality, that's what just average good men do. Things are going to come in your life that sucks. And are you just going to do the bare minimum? Are you going to go into the gym, or are you going to go into that business meeting? Or are you going to go into a job interview thinking that, you know, this is normal. I'm just going to do the bare minimum and I should get the job done. If that's a skill set you have, good for you. But that's not helping you in the future fortify your mind or your body mentally, physically, spiritually at all whatsoever. That's just doing the bare minimum when things suck. So in order for us to embrace whatever sucks, because you know it's coming. You recognize that whatever sucks in your life or whatever could possibly suck that is a possibility of happening to you, just embrace it. Because the more you try to put it off and the more you try to let it go, or the more you try to give yourself more cushion in between you and that suck, the suck's not going away. The thing that really sucks in your life is not going away. I promise you that. Until you manifest it, until you take whatever sucks and you find something that ultimately takes your mind off of the suck, but is productive for you. Like for men in the world, maybe they deal with like a pornography addiction. If you sit in your room all day and you don't do something productive, you might be embracing the suck, but you're not giving yourself the tools to get rid of the thing that sucks in your life. And how do we get rid of that? We manifest something else that sucks in order to get us through that hard time. So a rule of thumb for men that are dealing with whatever addiction that's possible, and this is psychologically proven. If you have a bad behavior that you are continuously, habitually being a part of, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be something that's not addictive whatsoever, but it's something that is very unhealthy in your life that is not giving you the results that you are wanting. If that's something that happens and it's constantly on your mind and it's taking over, has dominion over your thoughts, you take that negative thing and you begin to visualize, why is it something that I deal with, right? So you internalize it. You give yourself the tools to internalize and recognize that it is a problem. That's always step number one. My grandmother was a drug and alcohol counselor for 30 years. If you have something in your life that is habitual and it's addictive, the first part of the process is recognizing that you have a problem. And then you can go into Alcoholics Anonymous and whatever treatment that comes with it. But I'm talking about everyday life where you don't have the desire to go to AA. You don't have the desire to find a group of men that, share the same things that you do, which I believe is 100%. You need to do that. But if you don't have a desire to do that, then at that point, you're putting it all on your shoulders to fix whatever sucks in your life. So if you take something that is on your mind all the time and it becomes an obsession, and it's an unhealthy obsession, how we rid our minds of that over time, it's not an overnight process, but how we rid our minds of that is we find something that is positively reinforcing. Well, that could mean a whole lot of things. You could go on a walk and you could take your dog on a walk. You could go grocery shopping and find healthy food. Like there's so many different options available that is positive reinforcement that would yield a positive response if we get up and do something about the problem that is causing us pain, right? And I think that there is something to be said about positive reinforcement. Psychologically proven positive reinforcement very it has very great results. It has wonderful results when it comes to fixing issues with things that are unhealthy in your life that become habitual or addictive in certain senses. But I'll take it a step further. If something really sucks in your life and it's something that you personally are tired of and personally want to get rid of, and that could be anything. That could be anything. And I won't even go into details. You personally, if you're listening, you know what that is. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I could spend the next hour talking about things that people may hate about themselves or may think sucks in their life or may wish things were different or it can go 37,000 different ways. But when I take it a step further, I want to talk about you find something that sucks in your life and you replace it with something else that sucks in a good way. Going to the gym sucks. Putting on a 50-pound backpack and running uphill for an hour sucks. Going to jiu-jitsu classes sucks. It's to some degree, it's humbling, but it can also humiliate you at the same time. But you have to put things in your path that ultimately yield success from whatever sucks. If you hate your job, open a book, start learning and reading about something you're interested in that you have a passion for. I don't think reading is fun. Some people do. But I'll be pretty honest. If it's something that is job related, if you don't think you're in a job that you don't think you should be in, or you're not you're not pursuing the passion that you think that you want to be in, or you really strongly believe that you should be in, 9 times out of 10, it's because you haven't done the homework. You haven't sat down and actually researched and done whatever you needed to do to get yourself to that next level and increase your potential in your job. Now, I'm just going to be straight up honest. I don't know where you're at in your endeavors. I don't know where you're at with your career, but I would bet a lot of money that a lot of people, most people that hate their job, they're only there because they feel like that's just the path that they've been given, or they feel like they can't increase their knowledge and their value in that career. And I'm here to tell you, if that's what you think about yourself, or if that's what you think in your career or whatever, replace it with something that sucks. Positive reinforcement sucks, right? It's not fun. Nobody enjoys spending an hour and a half of their day. Well, let's back up. Nobody enjoys spending an hour of their day going to the gym and really pushing themselves to the limit. People that go to the gym that really truly enjoy it and are absolute animals in the gym, sometimes I wish I had that. Like, they push themselves to the point of exhaustion and they have a smile on their face. Sometimes I wish I had that. Maybe on the outside looking in, people may view me that way. But in my brain, I'm telling you right now, I don't enjoy 90% of the things that I do at the gym or just staying physically active because they suck. They really just they do not hit anybody in a soft spot, okay? They put me at a place where I'm so exhausted and so tired and everything hurts and I continue to push on. And I don't know if maybe genetically, maybe my parents passed that down to me. Maybe there was something that I was okay with finding things that suck and really diving headfirst into it. Because I'll be honest, like my first experience in the gym, I was 16, 15, maybe. And I didn't know anything. I was 140 pounds. I was skinny as a rail. I had just come out of middle school and lost a lot of weight. So that was a big step for me. But at that point in my life, I really hadn't done anything that really sucked. I just ate a little bit better and I ran every once in a while, but never really pushed myself. I don't think I really pushed myself until probably my junior year of high school. I'd say that in that time frame, there was really a switch that flipped off in my head, but that switch only flipped off when I recognized that I had a future in something. I had a future in baseball. So something positive came into my life, and I was like, "Ooh, that switch, it's gonna flip. All right, here we go. Now it's go time." Why is that though? Because why didn't I, when I was 15, 16 years old, why didn't that switch flip on automatically? Why didn't I have a drive from day one to hit my goals? Because I think that if I did, I personally think that my career would have gone a lot differently because I would have put a lot more time and effort and hours into the first couple of years of high school. But at the same time, that was a time in my life where things weren't really going very well for my family. My dad had lost his job. He'd been unemployed for about 9 months. And then my mom was really she was the breadwinner of the house. And we had moved to Hendersonville, when I was in fourth or fifth grade. So we were still recovering from the financial woes that happened when I was in like middle school. And I remember that I was getting the discounted lunches at school. And my parents were really struggling. Like it was hard for them to put money on the table for us to have, vacations and for me to go play travel baseball. And then my brother decided to play high school soccer. So that's just a lot of time, energy, and hours that they were just exhausted and a lot of money that they didn't have to spend. But I think ultimately there was something in my parents that they maybe was passed down from my grandparents. Something in them found a situation that sucked. And they recognized that, okay, this is not anything we saw for our family at all. Never. Nobody sees that type of situation for their family. That's not what somebody envisions. But with the fact that thing, the financial woes that happened in our family, that thing gave a new drive and a new passion to my mom and dad. And somehow they passed it to me. I was a dumb high school kid. I really didn't recognize the value of money at the time. I really didn't. And I'm so blessed that we're at where we are today and everything is great and we're very blessed. But there was something that happened in that time frame for my parents and they inadvertently passed it to me. And I think that's where this story comes full circle. That's where my junior year of high school, that's where there was a switch that flipped for me. And this is a couple years, 3 or 4 years after my dad had gotten a job and he's they're working off some debt and everything. And ultimately, I don't know why I didn't recognize it earlier. Maybe I was just a dumb high school kid. Maybe so. But 15-year-old kids aren't dumb. I would honestly say 15 and 16-year-old kids are a lot smarter than we take value for. And I'm a strong believer in understanding that our younger generation, if we don't hold them to a higher standard, what is really going to become of the place that we live? They have to take responsibility. They have to. They're really no different from people that are 25, 26. They might be 10 years younger. And they might have, may not have a job yet or anything. But in reality, when it comes to problem solving, it's not much different. So with all that being said, I think for me, that's where I think that when something that really sucks happens and you never saw it coming and nobody prepared for it, not a single person prepared for it, you see things that suck, that are going to suck in the future, you see them a lot differently. You see them so differently. And at the end of the day, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing with the podcast. And I think that there's some level of confidence I have in the podcast, although very small right now, but there's a level of confidence I have with this podcast that I think that just the people that are listening, my confidence level that I'm doing something positive for somebody that's listening. And right now, some of you may be going through something that just sucks. There's no other way to put it. It just sucks and it's unfair. And life just either dealt you a hand of cards that you can't do nothing with, or you had all the cards, but somehow you screwed it up. And I'm here to tell you that it's okay. It's completely okay if you're in a situation like that. Where the difference comes in, okay? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with that free time you have? What are you doing with that early morning where you don't want to get up? What are you doing with that late night when you get off work and all you want to do is go home and eat a cheeseburger? What are you doing with that time? Because that's the time that sucks. You take the time that sucks, the time of day, wherever. You take a time of day that sucks, a location that sucks, and an activity that sucks. All for positive reinforcement. And I can tell you right now, if that is something that you get into habitually, you will see things in your life change tenfold. Tenfold. Nobody wants to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Nobody does. Nobody wants to be at the gym at 10 p.m. when they have to be up the next morning at 5 a.m. Nobody really, at least I don't think, has a desire to just get 5 hours of sleep and then continue to push forward and do things that suck every single day. There's very few of those people in this world, and we know who they are. And they're famous because of the things that they do and the drive they have and the passion that they have. A little bit different turn here, but I really want to talk about your purpose and your motivation. When you look at purpose and motivation, they seem very one and the same. They're very similar, different context of how you would use them, but purpose and motivation. And I took some notes on this, and I was in a period where I was like really deep diving into my notes. So I actually want to read you verbatim what I said. Here's what I said. There's a difference between motivation and purpose, even though people want to pair those two in the same category. Motivation is the reasoning behind your actions, And as we know as humans, our reasoning changes from day to day based on our mood. Purpose is an objective and an understanding that you were created for a reason. I'm a firm believer that your purpose does not change, but your adaptations to your purpose happen only when you apply yourself. That is the biggest factor. Is the adaptations for yourself, for your purpose, only change when you apply yourself. You have to apply something. You have to get the ball rolling, you have to apply pressure. You have to apply motion. So if you've been talking about getting that ball rolling for 6 years, but you haven't done any pressure, you haven't done any motion, any kinetic energy going to that ball, because there's tons of potential energy in that ball, but you haven't put any kinetic energy into it, now's the time. Because if you haven't noticed, some of the things that are going on in our world right now, there is zero guarantees right now. The house that me and my fiance live in, not guaranteed. It's just not. It's something that we own, but it's not guaranteed. The job you have, that you've been there for 10 years and it's right there for you, and that's your career. You knew it from the time you walked in the door. That is not guaranteed. It's not. Your physical fitness, it's not guaranteed. Your mental capacity is not guaranteed. Nothing that you can physically hold on to in this life is not guaranteed. Your family, you love them and you want them to be around forever, but unfortunately, that's not the case. They're not guaranteed. Love them more now. Work out harder, work out your mind, invest in things that really give you purpose now. Because in 10 years from now, we're all going to look back and we're going to say, wow, things are so different. Like we were surprised. But why should we be surprised? Why? We've seen a trajectory going on in the things that's going on in our United States right now, all over the world. But there's a trajectory going on. Doing a little bit of just small research and trying to figure out how to navigate the future, it's no surprise. There are things that are coming down the pike for us that are going to suck. And I'm gonna quote Joe Rogan, which he also quoted somebody else. But so I will say, soft men create hard times. Hard times create hard men. Hard men create good times. And then good times create soft men. So it is a cycle. Right now, we are in a cycle where we have a lot of soft people. We're coming off of a good time, but there's a lot of soft people. And I'll be the first one to point the finger at myself and say, what am I doing to manifest my own suck? What am I doing? I know I work hard and I know that I have a career in front of me, but it's come to my attention that none of it is guaranteed. So why not take the situation we're in currently, recognize that it sucks. Nothing we can do can control it, but we find something that also sucks, that's positively reinforcing, and make sure that thing that sucks, and make sure that the hard work that goes into it doesn't go unnoticed. Not by others, not to be seen by others, but by yourself. You need to recognize that if you're doing something that's positively reinforcing and it sucks, good. It's supposed to suck. That's the point. The successful people you see in the world, and this is not talking about the people that make tons of money and own businesses. I'm talking about people that are mentally, spiritually, physically in a great place in their lives, regardless of monetary value. But people that have not a huge amounts, libraries worth of knowledge and wisdom, and are willing to share that with others, and people that have been through tough, terrible, sucky times that can come out of it and say, I'm a better person because of it. Those are the people I'm talking about. Why can't we all, to some degree, strive to get to that point? Why can't we? And I think the separating factor is those people not only embrace the suck, but they manifest it for themselves and they push through it and they prepare their minds and their bodies for what's coming in the future. So when we have hard times like this, because soft men created it, those hard men can tell us, hold on, back up. We're good. Trust me, we're good. But we're only going to be good if you apply yourself. I think that it speaks volumes of a person's character when they personally put something upon themselves that just sucks, and they do it day in and day out, and they tell you that it sucks, and they don't want to do it, and they're genuine when they say that. But that just shows you a level of character that they have, because they're not doing it for attention. These people work out by themselves in solitude in the early morning hours or the late night hours. Nobody else around. And they only talk about it is because people ask, because they are extremely impressed by what they do. And they have to ask the question. I would. So why can't we? Why can't all of us get to some degree of manifesting a suck that you yourself only knows that's possible, and then overcoming that? It's hard. I get it. But here's some of the tools that I want to bring together to kind of wrap this all up. When you talk about, in the midst of a struggle, you have situations that, again, you didn't see coming. But you also can prepare yourself in advance, right? But I'm talking about in the moment. What can we do to get ourselves through that suck? Okay? The first one would be visualization. If you don't see yourself accomplishing a goal or overcoming failure, no matter how many times you have previously failed, it's not part of your purpose, period. I say that because you are spending so much time as a society, we are spending so much time as a society, listening to what others are accomplishing and or failing at to reach their potential. Listen closely. We are listening to a podcast that is very small, but there are podcasts out there that are large, and they have people that are very successful on those podcasts. We spend more time listening to their success and everything that they do, and we spend very little time on ourselves. Very little time. If you're like me and you listen to a podcast on the car ride, great. But in your time where you're sitting and you're not doing anything, and the only thing that you're doing is watching other people accomplish things, there's something to be said about that. We've got to cut that out. Spend more time visualizing exactly what your purpose is and how you can adopt or adapt that purpose to fulfill this journey that you are on. And these are just, again, I was on a roll taking some notes a while back. So there's a couple of other things here, but that is huge. Visualization. Recognizing and visualizing exactly what the goal is, how do we accomplish it, and then when struggle arises, how do we push ourselves past the struggle? That is massive. That's why I put it as number one, because only you can visualize what you want to accomplish. I can't visualize that for you. Nobody else can visualize that for you. Number two is positive self-talk. This is going to sound so corny and so cheesy. But I can promise you right now that positive self-talk has a lot of benefit. And I'm not talking about going in the gym and standing in front of the mirror with your guns a-blazing and audibly telling people that you're the best. That comes off the wrong way. But silently to yourself, if you can tell yourself, I'm the best. Nobody's beating me right now. I'm the best. I've worked way too hard for this. I'm the best. An example that I can bring up, and I don't know if any of you guys watch any UFC or anything, but Rose Namajunas was fighting Zhang Weili. These women are incredible athletes. And they've worked their entire lives for situations like this. And this was a while back, but there was a fight between the two, and it was for a title shot. And I really enjoy the sport because of the respect and the humility that it shows, even though that these people are going into a cage to absolutely wreck each other. But I enjoy that about the sport. But before the fight, Rose was walking to the cage, and you could see her uttering to herself, I'm the best. I'm the best. She said it repeatedly going into the cage. She gets in the cage. Bruce Buffer is doing their introductions. They announce her first because she is fighting against the champ. The champ is always announced last. And you could see Rose saying to herself, I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. And continue to say it to herself. And that's not saying that she's the best, so she's automatically going to win just because she's saying that to herself. But when Zhang Weili was standing across from her, she's a killer, by the way. They step together. They exchange some punches, some kicks, and Rose kicks her right in the face, knocks her out cold, and the whole place erupts. And at the end of the fight, you can still see her saying, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. And her coach comes up to her and says, you're the best. And she said it for the first time out loud. She said, I'm the best. Joe Rogan comes and does an interview with her. Same thing. She says, I'm the best. You only heard her say it out loud twice. The rest of the time, she was mouthing it to herself. She was saying internally, she had some lip movement, but she said, and then eventually, as soon as she knocked out Zhang Weili, she was, I'm the best. I worked hard for it. I'm the best. And she continued to say it. And there's something to be said about positive self-talk in that aspect. Not only does she personally believe that she's the best and that she worked hard to be the best, but she manifested that. She manifested being the best. And more than likely, and to be honest with you, you can take it for what it's worth, there was something that she manifested that was other than just her telling herself she's the best. I guarantee she manifested some type of suck. She manifested something that absolutely sucks, going through a 16-week camp and just killing her body. And she went through a suck that nobody on this planet, other than people that are in the UFC or in any type of, special forces military, that will never understand. But she manifested a suck that I can promise you right now would be the gates of hell for some people. But I want to bring the positive self-talk notes that I had. Manifest your purpose with your words. Some days we are going to wake up and feel like our purpose is not enough to sustain our drive to power through the day. Let me repeat that. Some days we are going to wake up and feel like our purpose is not enough to sustain our drive to power through the day. That happens probably, I would say for most of us, happens every other day. That's okay. That's part of failure. It's part of it. But you can manifest your thoughts into words to put validity to your purpose. Write these words down and put them in a place where your eyes will notice them first thing in the morning. When you're fighting that urge to quit or the stress in your life, talk to yourself through it. and your purpose will reveal itself in a new way. So not only are we giving ourselves positive self-talk by moving our lips and believing in it in our minds, but we're putting it in a place that we can also visually see. So there's no excuse here. If you're an auditory learner or a visual learner, or maybe even a kinetic learner, whatever your learning style is, learn to give yourself positive self-talk by seeing it on a wall, by uttering it to yourself, and then doing the things that you said you were going to do 10 years ago, 5 days ago, 5 hours ago. Do it. But you have to give yourself some type of positive self-talk when you have days that you don't want to do it. That's for most people every other day. And the last thing, we've been talking about this, and you're probably blue in the face, and I am too, about talking about manifesting the suck. Okay, I'm going to say it again, and this is, if you take anything with you, it's going to be manifest the suck. You could listen to the rest of this podcast, and if you got just that phrase out of it, good. Oh, that's really the point. But the third thing that I wrote down is really deep to me because it's the shortest amount of words that I wrote on my notes. But the volume of it and the way that it's written to me is just get off your ass and do it. Participate in activities that suck mentally and physically. Manifesting the suck because hard times are coming. And if you're not prepared, you will crack under pressure and lose sight of your purpose. We talked earlier about purpose. And, just completely went blank there. We talked earlier about purpose and motivation. Motivation at the end of the day is good to get you out of the chair, to get you off your butt, to get you off the couch, to get you away from your job that you don't like. It's good to get you started. But motivation will not sustain you through a career, through a 2-hour workout, through a week long of fasting. It will not get you through anything of longevity. It'll get your butt moving, but it will not get you anywhere else other than out of your chair. But purpose, your purpose will sustain you for a lifetime into eternity. Your purpose will sustain everything that you said you would, but depends on your purpose. What is it? Is your purpose to get rich or die trying? Is your purpose to have the biggest house in your neighborhood? Is your purpose to be a Greek god and work out really hard and be Mr. Olympia? Or is your purpose to fortify your mind, fortify your body, lean on your spirit, and give yourself the best defense for the times that suck? Because I don't care how successful you are. You're going to go through things that suck. You are. It's going to eat you alive if you don't manifest another suck that is positive and gives you a backbone. Guys, I am really just blessed from what's been going on recently. And, I brought this to y'all's attention because I am personally somebody who has not been manifesting the suck recently. I have not. I've been going to the gym and doing the things that I'm supposed to and making my workouts hard. But if that's something that I do on a everyday basis or average basis, that's not manifesting any suck. That's just going out for a workout. So I'm here to tell y'all that I'm not on here pointing fingers at y'all. This was for me too. This was for me in a lot of ways. But just the things that have happened in my life recently. Nothing horrible, no loss of loved ones or anything, thank God. And going through, career changes and things of that nature. But it was a time period for me where something that really sucked invaded my life. And I did not see it coming. Did not see it coming. So now that I have the knowledge that I've had and listening to others' podcasts and reading a little bit and doing some work of my own and kind of deep diving into my own mind and recognizing that there's got to be some changes that are made. Just have to. And with this podcast, if there's anything that I want to be aware of, is that whenever I talk about things on the podcast, it's because I need it too. I need it just as much as y'all do. I just want to be some type of I want to be some type of vocal reinforcement. I want to be some type of voice that's in the distance that you guys can hear that gives some type of hope. But just know that whenever I have a topic or even a guest, I need to hear what they have to say because it's important. It's detrimental. But guys, manifest the suck. Embrace it. Accept the fact that you are going to have things in your life that suck. Period. But we have to have positive reinforcement manifested itself in a way that sucks so that we can get to that next level in our lives. So we can get to the next stepping stone in our career. We can get to the next fill in the blank. Guys, I love you. Thanks for tuning in today. If you guys haven't heard yet, Apex Performance, on their website, they have a percentage off right now. I think it's 30%. If you use the code N2F podcast, all caps, no spaces. They have some new merch coming out. They're looking at doing some athletic fit type material, and they're kicking major ass right now. Their clothes are awesome, and they're also great friends of mine. So I would appreciate if you guys would give them a look and support them, support a small business. So, but I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and manifest your suck. Have a good one.